Everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Awakened. I hope you guys all caught the last episode where we broke down really a lot of the protests against the mandates that are going on throughout the world that you're not seeing on mainstream media. They're definitely being censored from you. And we also gave the graph showing the infection or the mortality rate and the how very, very small part of the pie it was. And that's what we're fighting over. So if you did not see that episode, go back, check it out. I'll throw the graph up here during this episode as well. It's just very important to see that visual. So you see, like, this is what this is all about. This is what the fighting is about. The control is all over one tiny, barely visible sliver of a pie.
Yeah, so, your fingers should be like this.
I know. I gotta get them closer together. Anyway, so I'm Josh Hall, and I'm joined once again by Pastor Rob Coburn.
Hey.
And
awesome.
Hey. And
we're doing it again.
We've got our producer Nate mic'd up. Nate, how you doing?
Good.
Okay.
Happy to be here.
He's good.
He's good. He knows what we're about to talk about, so he's like, maybe not so good. Today on this episode, we really want to dive into, and we teased it on the last episode, the YouTube guidelines that just came out. And I guess that's the wrong word. They're not guidelines. This is the new policy going into effect on January 5th, which ironically is the same date as the vaccine mandate. I don't know how all that lined up, but perfectly well.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so these are all the things that we're talking about here that YouTube now says you're not allowed to say.
And so everybody with a YouTube account received this email this week.
Yep.
And or last week, actually. They received this email. And many of you out there that have a YouTube account probably never read what was actually in this email that you received that's going to say what you can put on and what you can't put on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So we're going to dissect it for you because, honestly, whenever it first came through, I didn't want to read it, but we have to read this stuff.
I didn't want to either. I honestly, I read the first couple of lines of it, and then next thing I knew, I was reading more and more and more, and just every line of this thing just made me laugh almost because I'm like, wait, really?
Makes you laugh and then it makes you cry.
Yeah, some of this stuff is super outlandish, and then other things are like, well, why can't we say that? And then the thing is, the fact that they're trying to censor any of this stuff is just weird. Mm-hmm. It's just weird. When have they ever come out and tried to censor, anything about anything else? I mean, we were talking before the show. We all get headaches, right? So I asked Nate, I said, okay, if the three of us all had a headache right now, I said, Nate, what's your remedy?
And I said I would take Excedrin.
Yeah, I said I'd probably grab a couple Tylenol. You?
Advil.
Okay, boom, right there. 3 different medications. I said there's other people that would say, maybe grab a cup of coffee or a Mountain Dew, some caffeine. Nate said maybe somebody goes to sleep. I'm just going to go take a nap. Based on the these new policy things that YouTube put out, there's no other remedy for COVID other than the vaccines and, funny enough, remdesivir.
Interesting. Yeah. I guess we better look at who might benefit from that.
Yeah, I mean, somebody must own those two things. U.S. government. Okay. So the first line, then we're just going to dive right into these.
Oh, my word.
YouTube does not allow content about COVID-19 that poses a serious risk or egregious harm, or risk of egregious harm.
Okay, real quick, and you're going to post this link in the show so you can read right along with us. My encouragement is while you're listening to this, if you're not driving down the road, you can pull this up on your technology. You can read along with us because we're literally reading off of the email and the link that they sent us.
Yes, so basically what YouTube then goes on to say is we're not allowed to spread medical misinformation, and that what medical misinformation is controlled by local health authorities and the World Health Organization.
Interesting.
Some of the most trustworthy people that we've come to learn will be the ones controlling what we're allowed to say.
Right.
So let's see. Do we just want to kind of dive in here? Treatment misinformation.
What does this policy mean for you?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
What does this policy mean for you? Mm-hmm. If you're posting content on the World Wide Web via YouTube, this is for you. What is it actually saying about COVID-19? Go ahead. Misinformation.
Yeah, just read a couple of these. So if you're getting any information from YouTube, I guess you got to find something else, unless you just want the straight narrative lies that they're saying
exactly
is the only thing allowed. Content that encourages the use of home remedies, prayer, or rituals in place of medical treatment, such as consulting a doctor or going to the hospital. How's that one hit you?
So we can't talk about prayer as being a part of the COVID-19 treatment plan. Any home remedies, which I know that they later go on and define what those might be, and rituals. I find that very interesting.
Right. Now, let me say real quick that you're not allowed to claim that this stuff is effective in lieu of treatment.
Right.
So you can say, oh yeah, you can pray about, recovery from COVID, but you still have to say, go to a doctor and go to the hospital.
And their treatment is the vaccine.
Correct.
There you go.
Yep.
I just find it interesting that they lump prayer in there and other rituals.
Yes.
Which makes it broad.
It's so broad. Like they can negate anything for anyone.
Yeah. At any day, they can define what that actually means.
Mm-hmm. This next one's interesting. So you cannot claim that there's a guaranteed cure for COVID-19, which is, and there's a couple other things in here that make me wonder, well, then what are we mandating vaccines for?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to come out and say, get the vaccine. It'll save you from COVID. Not allowed to say that. So what are we mandating them for?
Right.
I mean, exactly. I'm imagining that they fall under this. It didn't say other than the vaccine. It just says you can't claim that there is a guaranteed cure.
Content that recommends the use of ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine for the treatment of COVID-19.
Interesting. I've read quite a few stories where people's lives have been saved.
Yes. Yeah, there was just one a couple days ago. A man here from another country to see his family.
Japan?
Yeah.
Chicago.
It was in Chicago on his deathbed in ICU. And then they gave him ivermectin and voila, 3 days later, he's holding his grandkids.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that easy either, though. The doctor had to go get a judge to overrule the hospital so that to give the doctor the right or the privilege to do the ivermectin as a last-ditch effort to save his life.
And look, it did.
And it did.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. Not a fake story, guys. Actually happened. So.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, but I'm not allowed to talk about it on YouTube. I don't know if we need to go through, every single...
Well, I think we have to say we can't recommend. It says you can't recommend the use of ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, but then it goes back into deeper. It says claims that this is an effective claims that each one is an effective treatment
or safe.
Right.
You can't even say that it's effective or safe.
Right.
Do we know that for sure that it's not?
Well, obviously, there's doctors out there who believe it is.
Yeah.
Right.
People that went through and are licensed doctors and physicians.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's a wild world we're living in, but here we go. And you're not allowed to discourage people from consulting a medical professional or seeking medical advice. So, I guess go see your doctors. Which honestly, I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I do recommend that because I did the same thing back when this whole thing was getting started. I went to my doctor and said, talk to me about this vaccine and everything, because you're the doctor. I'm not. I trust you, obviously. You're my doctor, so what do you think? And let's just say I'm continuing to follow the recommendation I was given.
Yes, of course. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I love the next one. Claims that there is a guaranteed prevention method for COVID-19. Isn't that what the vaccine's about?
What? Wait, okay, so my content I'm not allowed to say that the vaccine will prevent COVID-19.
Why would that be in there? We're shutting down the world because...
And mandating the vaccine for everybody.
Right.
Huh. But we're not allowed to say that it's a guaranteed prevention method.
Interesting.
Maybe because it's not?
Wow. Yeah.
I'm just reading between the lines of YouTube's guidelines here.
Or a claim that any medication or vaccination is a guaranteed prevention of COVID-19.
Right there it is. You cannot claim that any vaccination is a guaranteed prevention method for COVID-19. Oh, man.
Now, let's look at the chart real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Because the chart actually defines what we're talking about.
Yeah, it does.
That there's this little sliver. This little sliver that the vaccine's actually working on anyway.
That one is very telling to me.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. What's next here? Do we want to hit more of this ivermectin stuff, or?
Oh, there's a lot of it. Yeah. Claims that wearing a mask is dangerous or causes negative physical health effects.
Well, they could.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
But you can't say that on YouTube now.
Interesting. Okay. Next. Claims that, man, there's more stuff about the claims that, I'm sorry, I kind of lost my place here. COVID-19 vaccine will cause death, infertility, miscarriage, autism, or contraction of other infectious diseases.
Okay, so I want to be clear. This claims that an approved COVID-19 vaccine. It doesn't just say it's approved.
Approved, correct.
Well, that means that who's doing the approval of that is going to contain the narrative of what happens. So they can actually say on YouTube, the one that they didn't approve causes all this, but the one that is approved, you can't say causes this.
So the approved vaccine would be approved by the FDA, I'm assuming.
I'm guessing, yeah.
So that would probably be the same vaccine that the FDA just asked a federal court to grant them to keep classified all the data and records for the Pfizer vaccine until 2076.
2076.
So we're not allowed to claim that an approved, and we're assuming FDA approved COVID-19 vaccine like Pfizer would cause death or infertility or these other things. And we already know that they don't want us to be able to know for sure until 2076, if any of that's true.
Very interesting.
Makes you wonder. Okay. Claims that an approved COVID-19 vaccine will contain substances that are not on the vaccine ingredient list, such as biological matter from fetuses. Oh, interesting.
Fetal tissue, fetal cell lines, or animal
Does it say fetal cell lines in there?
Yeah.
Oh, well, isn't that funny? Let me just pop over here to NEBRASKAmed.com. Do the COVID-19 vaccines contain aborted fetal cells? No. However, fetal cell lines were used in testing during research. Cells grown in a laboratory based on aborted fetal cells collected generations ago. So, yes, actually, they do.
They do. Fetal cell lines.
But YouTube said we're not allowed to claim that it does.
Even though the word on the proven fact says that it does, you can't talk about it.
Interesting. Okay.
Claims that an approved COVID-19 vaccine will contain substances or devices meant to track or identify those who've received it.
Okay. Why can't we have our fun? Aren't people allowed to put out like kind of sci-fi things on YouTube, make like creative videos and things? And why can't we just have a little fun and say, oh yeah, the vaccine, I just got a device in there to track you?
Well, that's what I find interesting is that they're now acknowledging what they would say whacked out conspiracy theorists. Now they're acknowledging them and putting them in their guidelines, which raises an eyebrow.
It does. It does. And don't take us wrong out there. We're not sitting here saying that they do have devices in there to track you, but it's just interesting that YouTube felt it necessary to put this in their new outlawed language, basically. Like, you're no longer allowed to even have fun and have a fantasy, sci-fi, whatever out there.
It's amazing.
I don't know. Take of that what you will. There's another one about, you can't claim that vaccines will make people magnetic. It will not alter a person's genetic makeup.
What?
Did you want to stop on that one?
What? What? Isn't that literally what it is supposed to do?
Yes.
I mean, that is what it's supposed to do. And we will read to you
are you bringing that up?
Some of what it is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And this is straight from, first of all, Microsoft research. And then I'm going to read the other part. So bear with me as I read a few paragraphs. Imagine a biological computer that operates inside a living cell, one that can be used to determine if a cell is cancerous and then trigger its death. In this project, this is done using DNA, a programmable material.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Just like a computer, DNA is highly programmable into a whole range of complex behaviors. This could enable a whole range of biotechnology applications, allowing for detection and treatment of disease at a level of precision that has not been possible so far. It can also allow the making of new medical compounds for more efficiently and ultimately allow the making of biological computers created at the molecular scale. That's through Programming DNA, an article by Dr. Andrew Phillips, head of biocomputation, Microsoft Research. And this is off of the Moderna website.
Well, hang on a second. Do you see the date there for this Microsoft? It's on Microsoft's website, by the way, guys. We're not pulling this out.
No. September 19th, 2016.
Okay.
2016.
Not 2020 or 2021.
No. 2016. Yeah. Okay, so off of the Moderna website, this one's even more powerful. We built Moderna on the guiding premise that if using mRNA as a medicine works for one disease, it should work for many diseases. And if this is possible, given the right approach and infrastructure, it could meaningfully improve how medicines are discovered, developed, and manufactured. And then there's a title, Our Operating System. That makes you feel great, right? Mm-hmm. Recognizing the broad potential of mRNA science, we set out to create an mRNA technology platform that functions very well like an operating system on a computer. It is designed so that it can plug and play interchangeably with different programs. In our case, the program, or the app, is our mRNA drug, the unique mRNA sequence that codes for a protein. We have a dedicated team of several hundred scientists and engineers solely focused on advancing Moderna's platform technology. They are organized around key disciplines and work in integrated fashion to advance knowledge surrounding mRNA science and solve for challenges that are unique to mRNA drug development. Some of these disciplines include mRNA biology, chemistry, formulation, delivery, bioinformatics, and protein engineering.
But it doesn't alter your genetic makeup in any way, shape, or form.
Well, we can't claim it.
Not allowed to say that. Not allowed to say that.
It does, but we can't say it.
So that's interesting. And then it kind of goes back to, the vaccine doesn't contain substances or devices meant to track you or identify those who've received it.
The second time it says it. Yeah.
But Moderna's website, their own website, this is like their front page, our operating system, says that the mRNA technology, and they call it technology, it acts as an operating system where your cells can then be programmable. So, okay, fine. I won't claim that the vaccines contain substances or devices, but it sure sounds like the engineered code of this mRNA technology is meant to program your cells.
Change DNA.
Whatever. I mean, we're just reading. I'm just reading off Moderna's website. These are their words, not ours. So
they put it right out there.
I guess hopefully Moderna doesn't do like a recap of their website on YouTube. They're going to be pulled off.
Don't go reading Moderna's website on YouTube after the 5th of January. Yeah, right. You'll get your channel yanked.
Claims that COVID-19 vaccines do not reduce the risk of contracting COVID-19. Well, if you remember our graph, we're talking about 0 to 0.1% reduced risk anyhow. So since 0 is actually part of that equation, why can't you claim that it doesn't reduce the risk? It's part of the possibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is frustrating.
I know.
I'm sorry. I know. This is just so frustrating. Reading this is
Can I pick out one that's just whacked out?
Please.
It would be, I just saw this. It would be that videos alleging that if you avoid Asian food, you won't get the coronavirus. Now someone sat down, probably multiple people, sat down at a panel and came up with these guidelines. And for some reason, they felt necessary to add that one in.
They did.
I mean, the overwhelming amount of videos on YouTube that are saying, if you don't eat Asian food, you're good to go.
I mean, I've seen some stuff. I haven't heard that one.
No, that's a new one to me too.
But it's in the official documentation now.
And then claims that COVID-19 is caused by radiation from 5G networks. That's another one that was super whacked out tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theory. But here it is on their official guidelines saying you can't speak about it.
It is interesting that these whacked out tinfoil things that you hear and you roll your eyes at have somehow found their way into YouTube's official restrictions on what you're allowed to say and not say about COVID.
You would think that would be the last thing on earth they'd be worried about. You really would.
Like, why draw more attention to it?
Exactly.
Right.
If it's just a dumb, stupid thing anyway, then who cares?
Yeah.
Content that promotes the use of unapproved, there's that word, or homemade COVID-19 vaccines. There you go. So if it's not the FDA approved, you're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. This is eerily similar to something that I remember from high school. Now, if you're under 35, you probably weren't taught about this because they've changed history, which is what they've been trying to do for a long time. But I remember this man that was sort of prominent in history. His name was Paul Joseph Goebbels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a German Nazi politician that was a chief propagandist for the Nazi Party. And he was the Reich Minister of Propaganda from 1933 to 1945. He was one of Adolf Hitler's closest and most devoted acolytes, known for his skills in public speaking and his deeply virulent anti-Semitism, which is evident in his publicly voiced views. He advocated progressively harsher discrimination, including extermination of the Jews in the Holocaust. What was his job, everyone? His job was to limit what was spoken in the newly formed media, radio, and film. We could say social media. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He was very adept at using them, but he limited what was spoken, and his top thing was anti-Semitism and limiting what could be said about the Third Reich. And so he really was the person who shaped the narrative in the Nazi Party to the public. And if you read about him, you can just go to Wikipedia till they take this down. In 1943, Goebbels began to pressure Hitler to introduce measures that would produce total war. Click on that one and read what that's about. Including closing businesses not essential to the war effort, conscripting women into the labor force, and enlisting men in previously exempt occupations into the war mark. Hitler finally appointed him. Okay, so what happened was he was trying to introduce measures to produce total war. War against what? War against what? War against the Jews. I mean, war.
Oh yeah. War against the inferior races.
The inferior races, right? So there's the war, but we're being told that we're in a war against a virus.
Yeah, that little sliver of white in the graph.
Yeah. So we're at war against a virus, and now we're sitting here reading COVID-19 restrictions of what you can say about a war.
It's eerily similar. You just draw the parallels.
I'm just saying history always repeats itself, and if we don't understand history, it will definitely repeat itself. And I think that we completely miss that many of the rising of the Third Reich was done in the realm of how they controlled and manipulated information. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, and that's why this, I know we've been having some kind of fun laughing about these, but it's actually really scary. When this email popped up, this weekend and we read through it, it was like, wow, like this is, it does not give me good feelings in my gut to see, the world global leader of, video content telling you what you are allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say about COVID. Mm-hmm. It's like, when did this ever happen with anything else? I mean, you cannot produce content that denies that COVID-19 exists. Think of all the videos out there. I mean, I'm just thinking of UFOs and aliens and Bigfoot and stuff like that. There's all kinds of videos out there. People, it exists, it doesn't, blah, blah, blah. And they bicker back and forth and argue and produce content.
And it's allowed to be out there.
It's allowed to be out there.
No one cares.
But see, it's not a total war.
Right. I mean, this is taking the freedom away from people to make up their own mind. I mean, if you want to go watch a video of somebody trying to make the claim that COVID doesn't exist, why shouldn't you be allowed to watch that? I mean, I'd be just interested to hear the argument. Now, do I believe it exists? Yes. But the person who doesn't think it does should be allowed to say that.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's
and as the examples go, they're crazy.
Oh, I know. I'm just kind of rolling around. Yeah.
It's just,
I don't know which ones I want to say, which ones I don't. You cannot.
Go ahead.
Okay. This one's interesting, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, obviously, but just think about this. So you're not allowed to claim that COVID-19 vaccine will kill people who receive it. Well, how do we know that it doesn't? It hasn't even been out for a year yet. So, and it's the first mRNA vaccine to ever be produced and distributed across the population.
In humans.
Because
it's never made it out of animal trials.
It's made it to human trials once. But never made it through.
Right.
Yeah.
Why? Just let that go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I'm just saying it. And then when they're asking for 55 years of
exemption.
Yeah.
So you can't talk about it for 55 years. I wonder why.
Yeah. The data and the information does not have to be, disclosed to the public for 55 years. It's just all this stuff. I don't know, man. Just draw your own dots, I guess, your own lines. Nate, do you see anything else that pops out to you on here?
So many. I don't know what I want to get into though. A point I was thinking about was for a while there on YouTube, when you clicked on YouTube's homepage, there was a suggested, I don't know what you call it, but a roll of videos that had very popular influencers discussing COVID-19. Mm-hmm. These were people with no medical education, no anything. These were just influencers that probably a couple years ago didn't have a platform, didn't have a voice, and now they've made a voice, and now they are talking about COVID-19. And that was YouTube recommending you to watch those videos. So I find it interesting that they were recommended to talk about COVID-19, but now, even if you're a doctor and you disagree with their guidelines, you cannot talk about COVID-19.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
Oh, man. It's just...
Yeah.
But it's very important for everybody to understand that this is what's happening.
Yep. That's the only reason why we're talking.
Go read the whole list of everything for yourselves. Pick out the ones to you that don't sit well with you. Which ones are you like, wait, why can't you talk about that? And leave a comment. Leave a comment to the video. We'll love to discuss it with you.
Yeah. And just stay awakened.
Stay awakened. Absolutely. Keep questioning. Don't take anything that we're telling you to the bank. Go do your own homework. Go do your own research. That's what we're doing. We're just trying to share enough information with everybody out there to hopefully stir somebody. Wake up. Just
wake up. Go read the websites that are posted in the links, and go back and reread history.
Yeah. Yep. So there will be two. There's actually, we didn't even get to the Google guidelines or restrictions for, let's see, this one would be for COVID-19. There's one specifically for the vaccines, that vaccine misinformation policy.
Yeah, that's probably too much for this.
We'll let you guys read that, make your own conclusions, but it's out there in black and white writing. This is the things that you're not allowed to talk about on YouTube starting on January 5th. Rob, Nate, anything else you guys wanted to mention before we close up?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, we're
all good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, appreciate you guys chiming in and discussing this. Very scary stuff, and for it's enlightening to know that this stuff is happening. So,
and it's good that we still can have a conversation about it.
Yes, and we're going to keep having conversations about it on the AGA network. So download America's Greatest Awakening on your mobile phones, on your smart TVs. Go to aga.network on your computer. You can watch all the content there. Everything will be posted, even if it gets removed from YouTube, whatever. We don't really care anyway. We're also on Rumble. You can download the podcast if you just want to listen audio. Follow us on Facebook while we're still allowed to be there. Wherever else. To everybody listening, thank you very much. Stay informed, keep asking questions, and if you're not awake already, please wake up.